श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग गंधार्विक गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्रील गुरुदेव की जय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल्प विष्णु महाभागवत शिल गोरक्षोदास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्याल्प विश्व शिल सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्याल्प विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम शिल जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानु गौरी गुरु वर्ग की जय। जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौरमंडल व्रजमंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट विदग्ध गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन श्री हरिनाम चिंतामणि की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। श्री सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि की जय। श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। We'll do Manglacharan. Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Tividito Kodiya Gurvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanai Maya Bharati Mingilo Daragatan Udhritya Jiva Niman Krishna Prema Sudabdi Gahana Sukhang Pradat Prabhung Tang Bhaje Vande Bhakti Vinodang Shri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajang Radha Rasa Sudhanidhim Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Saccidānanda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupano Gavarayate Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayang Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Vrishabhanusutanvita Vamatanu Yamuna Tattanagarnandasutam Murali Kalagita Vinoraparam Bhajagodrumakanana Kunjavidum Smaragoragadadarakelikalam Bhavagoragadadarapakshacharam Shrenugoragadadhara Charukhatang Bhajagodrumakanana Kunjavidum Tavai vasmi na jivami tvaya vina iti vigyaya devi tvang nayamang charanantikam bhaktya vihina aparada lakshai kshiptashtakama dittaranga madhe kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanarvindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Dandavat Pranams Lola Mataji Sarveshwari Mataji Ashray Tattva Prabhu Gokuleshwari Didi Nitai Mukeshji um, let's see, I'm just opening up YouTube and Facebook, just seeing if anybody joins there. Raseshwari Mataji, Indira Mataji, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, Keshav Prabhu, and all the other devotees watching now. If you write a comment, I'll see your name. Dandavat Pranams. So, we are continuing with our reading of Sri Harināma-cintāmaṇi. We've completed the main bulk of the book, which is on the topic of Nam-aparādha, and today we are going to be reading about Sevāparādha. So, yeah, I didn't actually get a chance to look at this chapter before, so we'll all be reading this for the first time. And oh wait, I didn't mention Gokuleshwari Didi Dandavat Pranams. Or maybe I did. I'm a bit spaced out. I stayed up really late last night. But okay. Yeah, our Navadvip Parikrama here will be starting the day after tomorrow. And the next, we only have one chapter left after this, but the next chapter is a bit long. So I'm wondering, anyways, let's see how we do with time, but maybe if we finish Sevāparādha and it's not too late, then maybe we can also start the next chapter. Let's see how we do on time. And then we could finish Harināma-cintāmaṇi tomorrow. But we'll see. All right, let's begin. Where is it? Here. Okay, so chapter 14 of Sri Harināma-cintāmaṇi. This is all on the topic of Sevāparādha, offenses during service. Jai Gaur Gadadhar. Wait, I forgot to check my mic. 1 second. Okay, it's plugged in. Yeah, so I'm going to try to not talk too much throughout this. I'll just read so that we'll see if we can finish this chapter quickly so that we can begin the next chapter. Let's see. Jai Gaur Gadadhar Janava Jivan Jai Sitapati Shivasari Bhakta Jan. Glories to Gaur Gadadhar and to the life of Janava, Nityananda. Glories to the Lord of Sita, Advaita, Srivas, and the devotees. नाम तत्वे श्री हरिदास ठाकुर के आचार्य बोलिया ukti koriachen. Shri Haridas Thakur is declared the Acharya of Nam Tattva. Mahaprabhu bole shuno Bhakta Haridas Nama Aparad Tattva Korile Prakash. Mahaprabhu said, listen, Bhakta Haridas, you have revealed the truth about Nam Aparad. Ihate kalir jiva labhibe mangal Nam Tattve tumi ho Acharya Prabal. Due to this, the jivas of the age of Kali will attain auspiciousness. You are the great Acharya of Nam Tattva. And then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that at the time of the avatar of Sri Chaitanya, Sri Haridas Thakur was the Acharya of Nam Tattva. Just as the Thakur taught the jivas about Nam, Namabhas, and the glories of the name, and how to avoid Namaparad, he also taught them by his own example. So he also practiced them and taught by his own example. Tava mukhe nam tattva korite shravan, amar ulasa boro shuno Mahajan. O Mahajan, please listen. I am most pleased to hear Nam Tattva from your mouth. Achare acharya tumi, prachare pandita, tomar charita nam ratne vibhushita. You are the acharya of proper conduct. And we see the word acharya comes from the word achar. So one who, yeah. So you are the acharya of achar. So you are the acharya of achar, of proper conduct, and most learned in teaching. Your character is adorned with the gem of the holy name. Ramananda shikhailo more rasa tattva, tumi shikhaile more namer mahatta. Ramananda taught me ras tattva, and you have taught me the glories of the name. Eve bolo sheva aparada ki prakar, shuniya ghuchibe jiver chitta andhakar. Now tell me, what are the other types of offenses when engaged in seva? When the jivas listen to this, the darkness in their hearts will vanish. Haridas bole shevak jana jane, Ami namashaya thaki janibo kemone. Haridas said, those who are engaged in seva will know about these. I have taken refuge in the name. How would I know about these? How would I know about these? Tabu tava agya ami langhi pare nari, jaha bolai be taha bolibo vistari. Yet I cannot violate your instruction. Whatever you make me say, I will explain in detail. So, Sevāparādha Sankhya, the number of offenses in service. Seva aparadha hoy ananta prakar, Shri Murti sambandhe shab shastrer vichar. There are unlimited offenses found during seva. All the shastras describe them in relation to the deity, Shri Murti. Kona shastre dvatringshat aparad gani, Kona shastre panchashat gane gunamani. Some shastras enumerate 32 offenses, and other shastras say 50. O jewel of all divine qualities. Chaturvidha, the four types. Shei aparada chaturvidadi prakare, vibhaga koren buddha gana shastre dvare. According to the Shastra, the wise divide these offenses into four categories. श्रीमूर्ति सेवक निष्ठा कतगुली तार, श्रीमूर्ति स्थापक निष्ठा अपराधयार। Mm. श्रीमूर्ति दर्शक निष्ठा आर कतिपय, सर्वनिष्ठा अपराध कति विधा होय। Koti, koti vidya hoy. No, anyways. These offenses relate to those serving the deity, offenses in installing the deity, offenses in looking at the deity, and other types of general offenses. Hmm. Okay. Then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Seva aparads, offenses in seva, are in relation to the service in Seva aparads, offenses in seva are in relation to service to the deity. Some offenses relate to those engaged in service to the deity. There are offenses related to those who install deities. There are offenses by those who see the deity, and some offenses are general. These can be easily understood. Sevaparad dvatringsha prakar, the 32 offenses. Okay. Paduka sahita jai Ishvara mandire, jane chori jai tata swachanda sharire. One should Well, the Bengali doesn't actually say one should not. It's not an instruction or anything like that. It just says, it's just listing what they are like. Um, to enter the temple of the Lord wearing shoes, like that. Anyways, but I'll just read the translation. Um, one should not enter the temple of the Lord wearing shoes or in a vehicle for the comfort of one's body. Utsave na seve ar pragati na kore. Uchishta Ashocha dehe vandana achare. Um, I guess one should not. It's fine. One should not avoid engaging in service during a festival. Nor should one. One should not avoid engaging in service during a festival. Nor should one avoid observing it. One should not enter the temple after eating or in an unclean state. One should not avoid offering prayers. Okay, so don't enter the temple after eating or in an unclean state. And one should not avoid offering prayers. Ekahaste pranama, samukhe pradakina, devagre prasare pada hoy virasina. One should not offer pranam with one hand. That's a that's a that's sometimes a difficult one if you're holding something, but then you should somehow put it down. Or sometimes I have a difficult time, like if I have a mridanga around my neck and I offer pranam, and so then I try to get down and offer pranam, but then I'm holding on to the mridanga with one hand. And so sometimes I just like put my like pinky on the like on the ground just to like so that I'm touching it because it's an offense to offer pranam with one hand. One should not circumambulate in front of the deity. I'm guessing that means like show your back to the deity when you're, oh, no, no. Maybe that means having Tulsi. Yeah. Like if you have Tulsi Devi and you're doing parikrama of Tulsi, then, um, then you should close the curtains because you shouldn't circumambulate in front of the deity. Okay. One should not spread one's legs in front of the deity. I think that means like sitting with your legs up and like spreading them open like that. You should just sit cross-legged like that. On One should not sit in front of the deity folding one's knees or ankles. Oh wait, no, that was the one where you so one should not spread. Oh, okay, spread one's legs. That means sticking your feet towards the deity. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Devagre shayana ar bakhana korai mithyakatha ucha bhasha jalpana nichoy. One should not lie down in front of the deity, nor eat in his presence. One should not speak lies, nor speak loudly in front of the deity, nor talk about mundane topics with others. Nigrahanugraha juddha abhaktirodan krur bhasha paraninda kambalavaran. One should refrain from chastising or showing mercy to others in front of the deity. Nigraha and anugraha. I just want to look up those words really quick. Nigraha. So nigraha is persecution, oppression, repression, punishment, beating, aversion, reproach, censure, abuse, disfavor, dislike, restraint, confinement. And then anugraha. Let's just look up. So anugraha is favor, grace, kindness, compassion, mercy, concession, benefaction, benefit as a rule. I wonder what this means. I'm just guessing, um, like if you're being, like you're giving somebody gifts and you're like doing all sorts of stuff to like be really, but yeah, you should do that not in front of Ṭhākura, I guess. Um, yeah, I don't know. Okay, so one should refrain from chastising or showing mercy to others in front of the deity.
Something like we should not praise someone in front of the deities, like, oh, you're looking so beautiful, or you're wearing such a very nice sari or something like that. Should not praise someone in front of the deity.
Yeah, but I think we'll see if that's if it that doesn't come up again, the praise thing. Um, yeah, then that makes sense. That totally makes sense then. Yeah.
And also, if you are trying to show mercy or you're trying to chastise someone in front of the deity, something like you are taking on the role of Krishna, who is the real chastiser
Hmm.
or real merciful Lord, mercy
That's a
giver.
good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Yep. Hmm. Yeah, I like that point. That makes sense. Yeah. Um, okay. Yeah, those are very good points. We should always, whenever and basically with all of these, it's just we should be very aware when we're in front of Ṭhākura, we should be very aware in front of whose presence we're in front of Bhagavan, and so like we have to be very aware of that, and yeah, and if Krishna was actually directly standing there, then how would we behave? We wouldn't. So because he is, so then one should not argue and fight. One should not cry for some mundane reason. One should not use harsh words or criticize others. One should not wear a blanket in front of the deity. Kurur bhasha pura ninda kambalavar. Did I read this? Nigrahanugraha juda abhakti rodan kurur bhasha para ninda kambalavaran. Kambalavaran. Okay. See, this is the one though. Parastuti, right? So, anyways, let's see. Parastuti ashilata vayu vimokshan shakti sattve gona upacharer jojan. One should not praise others, nor swear or speak about indecent things. One should not pass air in front of the deity. One should not use one should not use inferior paraphernalia for the deity if one has a capacity to offer something better. Archana Mataji, were you about to say something?
I said, this is the one, not to
Yeah,
praise
yeah,
others.
that's the one. Yeah, Parastuti, yeah. Dev Deva nivedite dravya bhakshane shrikar kalodita faladir anarpana ar. One should not eat anything that is not offered to the deity, One must offer seasonal fruits, etc., to the deity. And then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, eating or drinking food or drink that has not been offered to the deity is a seva aparad for everyone. Anya bhukta avashishta khadya nivedan deva prati prishta kori sammukhe asan. One should not offer food to the one should not offer the deity um someone else's food remnants. One should not sit with one's back to the deity. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, offering a portion of food to the deity that someone else has already partaken is an offense. Devagre anyer abhi vadana pujan guru prati mona nija stotra alochan. One should not offer respects and worship to someone else in front of the deity. One should not remain silent and not offer some praise. One should not remain silent and not offer some praise of the Guru. And one should not praise oneself. So this is important. Um, one should not offer respects and worship of someone else in front of the deity. But on the other hand, if your Guru is there, then one should one should not remain silent and not offer praise of the Guru in front of Thakurji. So you must praise your Guru in front of Thakurji, right? Um, and then one should not praise oneself. Then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, one should not offer praise to anyone in the temple in front of the deity except to one's Guru. So, yeah. Devata nindana dvatringsha prakar seva aparadha maha purane prachar. One should also not slander the devas. These are the 32 kinds of seva aparad described in the Mahapuranas. And I always like find with all these rules and it could either be done in a really like just super like what's the word? Somebody's just too into rules and regulations and no like that, or it could be done in a really sweet way. If you're thinking that like Krishna will be very like will be if it you can make it personal and Krishna will be happy with me if I'm following all these rules and like you're doing it if you're doing it just for the sake of following rules and being rigid like that, or are you doing it to please your Gurudev and to and like this is showing how we can um like if we're serving Sri Guru, if we're serving Thakurji, then we want to know what would displease them because we want to serve them with love. We want to serve them nicely. And so if it's done out of love, then it's not just this whole like you know what I'm saying? Just following rules for the sake of following rules, but there's actually a sweetness in it. Anya Shastra Mate Prakar Varnan, a description in another Shastra. So now we're going to hear some Seva Aparads from a different Shastra. Anyatra achaya aparada anyatama Shankhepe bolibo prabhu tava ichamata. O Lord, according to your wish, I will briefly describe another list of offenses from another source. Rajana bhojana ar andhakar ghare praveshiya devamurti sangsparshana kore. One should not eat opulently or enter a dark room and touch the deity. Um, yeah, I mean, of course, the one, I'm just wondering about the one should not eat opulently. That's interesting. I mean, I'm sure what do you think about that one, actually? Because we should always have Takoji's remnants, which is lots of times very opulent. So, um, yeah. And then andakar ghare. So we should not enter a dark room and touch the deity. Whenever we enter Thakurji's room, we should always turn on the light. Don't enter in. Before we enter in Thakurji's room, we should turn on the light. Avidi Purvak Hari Murtya Pasarpan Vina Vadhe Mandirer Dwara Urghatan. One should not touch the deity of Hari without the proper rituals. I think probably like you should always do Achman before you touch Thakurji, like that. Um, then one should not open the doors of the temple without any sound. That's why you see the pujari always ringing the bell when they open up the curtains. Sarameya drishta khadya deve samarpan ar archana samoy mona bhagna akaran or akarani. One should not offer food to the deity which has been seen by dogs, etc. One should not break silence at the time of worship. Oh, I remember there was a letter from my Param Gurudev about, um, yeah, I think it's in Kriti Ratna. There's actually, should we just look it up really quick? I have Kriti Ratna on my computer. Oops, it's on this topic. Kriti Ratna. Oh, where is it? I just downloaded it recently, I think. Let me just look in the downloads. Yeah, there it is. Okay, I'm just gonna type in the word, I think it's the word dog. Let's see if that brings it up. No. Rice. Let's see if it comes up with rice. Anyways, doesn't matter. But I remember reading somewhere, um, that they like in Jagannath temple, so, a dog or something like that saw the boga rice for Jagannath, and it was like a lot of rice. And so then they dug up a big hole and they put all the rice in the hole because it couldn't be offered to Jagannath since the dog saw it. And and so then there is like big outrage, like how are they just wasting so much rice, fed, um, which could have fed starving people like that. And then I think it was my Param Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivinoda Keshav Goswami Maharaj. He wrote a whole thing in defense of that. Like that, no, it's really good that they did that. So, anyways, one should not offer food to the deity which has been seen by dogs, etc. One should not break silence at the time of worship. One should not break silence at the time of worship. Interesting. So when the pujari is doing archan, then just don't try to talk to him. Just leave the pujari alone because you shouldn't break silence at the time of worship. Unless it's service related, then you can. Um, Bahir deshe gamanadi pujar shamoy gandhamalya nahi diya dhupana karoy. During puja, one should not go outside. One should not avoid offering fragrant garlands and incense. Anarha pushpete Krishna pujadi karan. Um, Adhota vadane Krishna puja arambhan. One should not offer scentless flowers during puja to Krishna. One should clean one's teeth before starting worship of Krishna. Before starting the worship of Krishna. In the mat, generally nobody brushes their teeth on Akadashi, because I'm saying in the Gaudiya mats that I've lived in. I'm not sure all temples, but I know for sure, like, yeah, the brahmacharis don't brush their teeth on Akadashi because the toothbrush is contaminated with when you brushed your teeth when you had grains in your mouth. And also there are ingredients in toothpaste which are not fully Akadashi. So, um, and yeah, but the pujari, no matter what, always brushes his teeth in service of Krishna like that because he has to, or she, or he has to. Stri sanga koriya kimba rajaswala nari dipashava sparshiya ajogya vastrapuri. One should not enter the temple immediately after sexual union with one's wife, nor after touching a woman during her menstrual cycle, a lamp, or a dead body. A lamp? I don't understand the lamp one. Okay. One should not wear unclean cloth. Shavaheri adhovayu koriya mokshan krodha kori smashanete koriya gaman. One should not enter the temple after seeing a dead body, nor pass gas in the temple. One should not be angry in front of the deity, nor enter the temple after visiting a crematorium. Ajirna udare ar kusumbha painaka sevana koriya ar tambula gurvaka. One should not enter the temple until one's food has been digested. That's interesting. I've never heard that one before. One should not worship the deity after eating safflower, asafoetida, tambul, or Plato nut. Okay. Wow. Asafoetida. That's hinga. Very interesting. And safflower? Safflower oil? That's like in so many things that you like junk food stuff that you got.
What's the difference between safflower and sunflower?
I think it's a completely different flower altogether. I don't know. Let's look it up. Safflower. That's safflower, whatever that is. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, so I heard that safflower oil isn't supposed to be good for you anyways, so okay. Okay. Now, Tailamaki kori hari Srimurti sparshan eranda patrasta sorry, patrasta pushpe koroi archan. One should not touch the deity of Hari after taking an oil bath. One should not perform worship with flowers that have been placed on the leaves of the castor oil plant. Okay? Asurik kale puje pite bhume bosi snapana shamoy murti vama haste sparshi. One should not perform puja during an inauspicious period, asur kal. One should not perform worship while sitting directly on the floor without a seat. One should not touch the deity with the left hand at the time of bathing him. Yes, that's something I see people do a lot. Is But I learned just staying with Tirthamaj, that when we whoa, what happened? Okay, sorry. When we bathe like Giriraj Govardhan or any Shila, or just when we're taking care of him, when we're painting him, then just it's good to just have like a little cloth that you put in your hands, your left hand. Don't like pick up any Shila, Giriraj, or Shaligram or anything like that. You should never touch with your left hand. And it's easy. You just put a little handkerchief thing in your hand, and then you can pick them up and do everything like that. Don't directly touch with your left hand. Um, okay. Vasiva Jachita Phule Devata Archan Puja Kale Garva Ukti Ajatha Nishtivan. One should not worship the deity with old flowers or flowers gained by begging. That's interesting. I hmm, I don't understand that one. Flowers gained by begging. But anyways, okay. Um, one should not show arrogance at the time of puja, nor spit. Dude, also feel free to anybody can jump in at any time. Like you don't need to, yeah. If you have any thoughts on anything that I'm reading. Tiryak pundra dhore ar adhota charane mandire pravesh kore pujar karane. One should not wear three pundra, three horizontal lines on the forehead, nor enter the temple to do puja with unwashed feet. Avaishnava Avaishnava pakva kore deve nivedan. Avaishnave dekaiya koroye pujan. One should not offer foodstuff cooked by non-Vaishnavas to the deity, nor perform puja in front of non-Vaishnavas. That's why in the temple, when they do archan, they generally, lots of temples just fully close the doors when they do archan. In lots of my Gurudev temple, actually most of my Gurudev's temples, the pujari will just half close the curtain so that people can still have darshan of Thakurji, but they can't see the pujari doing the archan. Then Srila Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura says, cooked grains prepared by a pure Vaishnav can be offered to Krishna. Non-Vaishnavs should not be present at the time of Krishna puja. Something interesting, I went to Chaitanya one year. I wasn't able to go on the big, this is when I was working on the Gaudiya Kirtan app and I was trying to get it ready for Gaur Purnima. And so I wasn't able to join our party and I was just near to Yoga Pit. And so I went to Yoga Pit on for the Abhishek. And it was the strangest thing ever. They did the whole Abhishek behind closed doors so that nobody could see. It's That's like the biggest, most exciting thing, like the big Abhishek during Gaur Purnima time, and everybody's doing kirtan and it's like a whole big grand thing. But they did it behind closed doors so nobody could see what was going on. It was just like a completely private thing. Such a big day. But I guess um, that was the only time I've ever seen that in my life. But maybe it was because for that maybe there's some people who are non-Vaishnavas and they don't want to do puja in front of non-Vaishnavas. I don't know. I still don't actually fully understand that. Okay, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, cooked grains prepared by a pure Vaishnav can be offered to Krishna. Non-Vaishnavas should not be present at the time of Krishna puja. Okay, I just read that. Vishvaksene na pujiya kapali dekhiya. Hari puje nakha jale Shri Murti smariya. One should not offer puja without first worshipping Vishvaksena. Okay. It's the first time I heard that one. One should not offer worship after seeing a kapali, a tantric mendicant. Kapali is they eat out of skulls, right? Like they eat out of a yeah. Or they carry around the skull or something like that. Something like that. Um, One should not perform puja of Hari by bathing the deity with water touched with one's fingernails. Okay, so important. Don't touch your fingers. Don't let your fingernails touch water ever. Garmambu samsprishta jale koroye archan. Krishner shapat kore nirmalya langhan. One should not engage in worship while profusely sweating. Okay? So pujari should always be cool somehow or other during the summertime. Have a fan on them or something or other, but yeah, don't sweat. One should not make an oath in the name of Krishna. I swear to Krishna, don't do that. Nor step over nirmalya, flower remnants, nirmalya, any remnants of the deity. So it could be anything. Can be flower remnants, but also clothes remnants or food remnants, any kind of remnants of the deity. One should never step over. Eshab karje hoy, seva aparad, seva kari janir jahate bhakti badha. All these are seva aparads which obstruct bhakti for those persons engaged in service. Sevaparad jahar phake jaha, taha tini varjan koriben. One should give up these offenses in seva. Shri Murti Sambandhe jar bhajana pujanam seva aparad te ho karuna varjana. In relation to bhajan and worship of the deity, one should give up these offenses in seva. Vaishnava sarvadanam seva aparad varjiya Shri Krishna seva karuna aswad. By giving up all offenses to the name and seva aparad, a Vaishnav relishes serving Sri Krishna. ए सब अपराध मध्य जार जहाँ संबंधे पड़िबे तार वर्जनीय ताहा. If one commits any amongst these offenses, one should give them up. Nam aparad shakal Vaishnav matre matreri varjaniya. All Vaishnavs reject Nam aparad. Kintu Nam aparad sakal Vaishnava sarvakal tyaji labhe bhaktir vaibhava. However, in order to attain the opulence of bhakti, all Vaishnavas avoid Nam aparad at all times. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Vaishnavas must give up the 10 offenses to the name. Whenever there is a chance for a seva aparad to be committed, it must be avoided. It is essential to understand that avoidance of such offenses is the main duty of a Vaishnav. Bhav sevai sevaparad vichar swalpa. At the stage of bhav seva aparad is negligible. Shri Murti virahe jini nirjane te boshi bhajana karane bhava marge aharnishi. One who is not engaged in the worship of the deity, who resides in a secluded place performing bhajan, is situated on the path of bhav, day and night. They are on bhav marg. Nam aparad sada varjaniya tar, nam aparad dasha sarva kleshadhar. That person constantly avoids nam aparad, because those 10 offenses to the name are the repository of all miseries. Nam aparad gate bhava seva hoy, ataiva aparad tahe nahi roy. When nam aparad has vanished, bhav seva emerges. Thus, offenses do not occur at that point on. Then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, on the path of bhav, manasa seva, service in a transcendently purified mind, is prevalent. In this state, there is no seva aparad. In relation to the service of Govardhan Śrīla, Mahaprabhu told Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Prabhu kohe e Śrīla Krishner vigraha, ihar seva koro tumi koriya agraha. E Śrīlar koro tumi satvika pujan, achirat pabe tumi Krishna premadhan. Ek kunja jal ar tulasi manjari, satvika seva e shuddha bhave kori. Dui dike dui patra madhe komal manjari, ei mata ashta manjari dibe shraddha kori. Shri haste shila diya ei agya dila, anande Raghunath seva korite lagila. Sorry. Eka vitasti dui vastra pinda eka khani, swarup dilen kunja ani bare pani. E mata Raghunath koren pujan, puja kale dekhe shilai vrajendra nandan. The Lord said to Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, this stone is the form of Krishna. You should render service to him with enthusiasm. You should perform sattvika puja, worship in the mode of goodness to this stone, and very soon you will attain the wealth of Krishna Prem. In order to offer sattvic seva in a mood of pure bhav, you only need 1 jug of water and some tulsi manjaris. With shraddha, you should offer 8 soft tulsi manjaris, each with 2 leaves on either side. Upon giving these instructions, the Lord gave the stone with his divine hand and Raghunath began to offer service to the stone in a blissful mood. Sarup Damodar gave, I like the word Śrīla better than stone. I'm just going to say Śrīla. He offered service to the Śrīla in a blissful mood. Sarup Damodar gave him 2 cloths of 6 inches, a wooden platform, and a water jug. In this way, Raghunath offered puja, and while worshipping, he saw the Śrīla as Vrajendra Nandan. That's from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila 6, 294 to 300. Okay, and this is, I think, continuing. Yeah, this is continuing Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jala tulasir sevai tar jata sukodai Saroshapat Shodasopat Shodasopachar pujai Tata sukanoi Tabe Swarup Goshai Tare Kohila Vachan Ashta Kodir Khaja Sandesha Koro Samarpan. The happiness that he experienced in offering service with water and tulsi was beyond comparison. More than one could attain by offering puja with Shodashopochar, 16 articles of worship. After he had worshipped for some days, Surup Damodar Goswami spoke to him as follows. You should offer 8 kodis worth of kaja and sandesh. How much? Kodi is like very small, right? How much is a kodi? Chaitanya, this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila 6, 302 to 304. I want to see how much is a kodi, unless somebody knows already. Kodi. Okay. No, that's not it. Anyways, I mean,
It's the small shells. They used to use it as money. So 8 kauris means the khaja you can obtain by giving 8 kauris.
okay, thank you. That makes sense now. Okay, thank you. Okay. Um, नाम स्मरण करिदेर bhav sevai kartavya. One who is engaged in meditation on the name should perform bhav seva. Okay, one who is engaged in meditation on the name, one who's just a nam bhajananandi, they should just perform bhav seva. Shri nam smarane bhav sevar uday, tomar kripai prabhu jive bhagyoday. When one meditates on the name, nam smaran, bhav seva manifests. O Lord, your mercy makes this good fortune arise within the jivas. Bhaktir sadhana jata achoy prakar, sheshab charame deya name prema sar. The various aspects of sadhan bhakti all essentially culminate in nam prem. Ataiva namaloy nama rase maje, anya je prakar shab taha nahi bhaje. In Namaras, one should not take up other types of bhajan. Haridas agya bole akinchana jan, Harināma-cintāmaṇi korila kirtan. By the power of Haridas's teachings, this beggar performs kirtan of Harināma-cintāmaṇi. Iti Shri Harināma-cintāmaṇo Sevāparādha vicharo nama chaturdasha parichedaha. Thus ends the 14th chapter of Śrī Harināma-cintāmaṇi, entitled A Deliberation on Sevāparādha, Offences in Seva. All right, so that is our reading for today, and it is 4 minutes till 8. So I guess we won't start the next chapter today. I just want to see really quickly though, what is the next chapter is the method of bhajan pranali. I just want to see the very beginning of it, just so that I can get like a sneak peek, a glimpse of what we're going to start reading tomorrow. So, the Lord said, O Haridas, by the power of your bhakti, you have attained all the knowledge of the world. I see all the Vedas dancing upon your tongue, and I see how your words are full of siddhanta. Please clearly describe Namras and how the jiva can become eligible to experience it. Feeling great prem, Haridas made this submission. On the strength of your order, I will describe it. And so then he goes into Ras Tattva, the science of Ras. And then, what's next? Then Chit Shakti Dvara Vastu, then the Chit Shakti reveals the supreme substance, the nature of Maya Shakti, the Jiva potency, the two types of states for the Jiva. So he's going through Dashmula Tattva, it looks like. The Ras is the nature of Nam. So he begins with touching on Dashmula Tattva. Then he explains it in the middle in this section on Shruti Shastra Nindanam. And then he ends by also going into Dashmula Tattva. It's just interesting. Um, then Ras Guna Swarup. Ras is the nature of Krishna's qualities. Ras Lila Swarup. Ras is the nature of Krishna's Lila. Bhakti Swarup, the nature of Bhakti. The effects of Bhakti. Um, then he's going through the different ingredients, the alambana, the elements of ras, udipan, anubhav, the gradual path to attain this. I know this ras to be the essence of all things, the very essence of perfection. I accept that all Shastra says that it is the supreme goal of human existence. Okay. And then the different qualifications and activities leading to the path of archan and hearing and chanting. The gradual process of hearing and chanting the name. Um, the oneness of the name, form, and qualities. Worship through meditating upon one's mantra. Worship through spontaneous meditation. Discarding the subtle body and attaining Vastu Siddhi. Okay, anyways, this is just half of the chapter. The sadhan of Ekadasha Bhav. Wow. Goes into that really high stuff. Then this 5 stages of Bhav sadhan. The initial stage of Shravan Dasha. Interesting. Okay. Well, those are just some of the topics that we will be reading tomorrow. So, yeah, I guess I'll do Mahamantra, do short Jaidvani, and then if there's anything that anybody hasn't, if there's anything that anybody wants to discuss on any of these Sevāparādhas or anything to do with Harināma-cintāmaṇi, we can, yeah. So, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Saccidānanda Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Jai Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Srila Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Sab Parshad Ji Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopikan Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Jai Srila Saccidānanda Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura Ki Jai, Jai Shri Harināma-cintāmaṇi ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Ṭhākura ki Jai, Jai Shri Saccidānanda Gaur Hari ki Jai, Shri Harinama Prabhu ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Oh, and I haven't, because I don't have a second screen right now, so I haven't seen any of the comments. I bet there. Let me just see if there are any comments on YouTube or Facebook. Okay. So Vidya Lala Siditi, she says, "What about serving our Ṭhakurji at home? Does it mean we should brush our teeth on Akadashi before doing Archan and save our Thakurji? Yeah, definitely. But I mean, something my mom was really she wasn't happy to hear that I didn't brush my teeth on Akadashi because she's always on my um because she's my mother. But she says she told me just to get another toothbrush that I don't use like an Akadashi toothbrush, and then I can brush my teeth with like salt or something. She gave me something that would be Akadashi friendly that I could brush my teeth with. So maybe I'll do that. But um, but yeah, Vidyalala Sadidi, I think you should brush your teeth before we're doing Acharna Thakurji, definitely. Yeah. Even on Akadashi, I mean. And then how is Abhishek done in festivals in the Math? In ISKCON they do it publicly. And here and then it cut off. Sorry, I mean it is done publicly in front of even non-Vaishnav, and here where I live, even non-Vaishnavs are allowed to pour milk and water on the deities. Um, okay. Well, in regards to um doing Abhishek in front of Thakurji, sorry, I meant to say doing Abhishek of Thakurji in front of the public. I've always seen that. And the only time in my life I've not seen that was when I went to Yoga Pit that day on Gaur Purnima Day. And that I was like kind of like shocked. But that's generally all temples. Yeah, all temples will do Abhishek. Maybe like on a normal day. Yeah, on a normal day when they're doing Archan, then yeah, they don't let the public see. That's why the pujari in our temples, they'll half close the curtain when they're doing Abhishek, like just on a regular day. But on big festival days like Janmashtami and Gaur Purnima, that the Abhishek's done publicly. So even non-Vaishnavas, everybody can see. Um, and then in regards to letting people offer like do Abhishek, different temples have different standards. Um, and God, I was living in Puri for like in Puri for a long time, and this one like, made me a bit uncomfortable. I don't know. We went through different things with that, but like they do Abhishek, but just the men would do it. But then um, but then in other temples, like in Gopinath Bhavan, then everybody does Abhishek. All the men, women. But I usually I think it should be people who, I don't know. I guess it also depends. If it's like Giriraj, then it's not as strict. But with Takoji, then I think it should be people who have diksha and who are dressed properly. Like if somebody's wearing pants, then I mean, that's just the standard I'm used to in the temple. If somebody's wearing like jeans or something like that, then they shouldn't do Abhishek. And I don't know though. It depends. That this is one thing. Um, there'll be a certain standard set, and the standard should never go below that. And so in every Grihastha home, the people that's the really important thing is that you make a standard, whatever is feasible, whatever kind of standard you can, and then just don't go below that. So like I know for some people who are working or whatever, they can't make 5 offerings to their Takoji a day. So then they just I know some people they say, okay, my standard that I have for my Takoji is that I'll just make at least I'll never go below 2 offerings in a day, something in the sometime in the morning and sometime in the evening, or I just make sure that there's 2 offerings. Like you make your standard and then don't go below that. um and so for like a really high standard, then yeah, only people who have diksha would do abhishek. But then if your takoji doesn't have like if you don't have that high of a standard set, then what I really like at Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math, I really like how they do Abhishek at Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math. I'm just not a big Archan person though, but um, just the Pujari does the Abhishek, and everybody just does Kirtan and watches, and then there's no like people with different opinions and whatever. It's just and then everybody can just engage in the Kirtan, and it's all just peacefully done, nicely, um, and yeah, it's just not like a whole thing. And I also don't like it to go on way too long. And sometimes when everybody does Abhishek, then it just goes on for way too long. I remember one time I went to as on Janmashtami day, I went to Abhishek in Rup Sanatan, and then I was staying in Gopinath Bhavan. So then we did Abhishek, we took Prasad, and I came back to Gopinath Bhavan, and they were still doing Abhishek after I'd already finished taking Prasad at Rup Sanatan. Because everybody did it, and there's a lot of people there, and it just took way too long. And anyway, so that's my personal preference is just let the Pujari do it, and everybody can watch. But I don't know. Does anybody have anything on this topic or anything else that we read? Anybody have anything? Ashay Tattvaprabhu, yes.
Yeah, that's a really good point about one person can do the Abhishek and then everyone else is engaged in the worship of the Lord as well, but they're doing it through the kirtan, through
Yes.
nicely, attentively, singing in the kirtan and everything and playing it's all part of the deity worship. It's not that everyone has to have their hands on the conch and pour the water and the other articles.
Yes. I mean, I'm not like against doing Abhishek. I also like to do the Abhishek of Giriraj and like that. Like I'm not like against doing Abhishek, but I'm like everybody doing Abhishek. But I also do like that, when it just the Pujari does it and then everybody does Kirtan. So I mean, yeah. But yeah,
We
I
just heard
agree.
about how many Sevāparādhas can be there. Then imagine like we are allowing everyone to do Abhishek, then they will be having so many disqualifications and so much Sevāparādha happening there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm personally not in favor of everybody doing Abhishek. I didn't like in Puri though. I didn't like when just the men did it and not the ladies. I also didn't feel comfortable about that. I like that. And actually, there is a letter from Srila Bhaktivinoda Keshav Goswami Maharaj in that book Kriti Ratna, and he said, and it was about no, ladies should also do. I guess somebody like he was strongly said that ladies should also be able to like should do worship of Shaligram Shila like that. It's not just a um, I mean, that's probably like basic for like obvious for people, but I think especially at that time, especially like really strict Gaudiya time and all that. But no, he said that ladies should also engage in worship of Shaligram Shila. So I didn't agree with that. I was like I think I said something to the person who's in charge. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So yeah, just that I'm just mentioning the point again, with service to with all these different rules and regulations, it can either be a sweet, loving thing, or it can be a cold, hard, rigid, like overly too much enthusiasm for rules kind of thing. Um, but like we see, but then sometimes people go to the other extreme and like, oh, I'm just not into rules and regulations. I want to serve Thakurji with love. But actually, you should follow the rules with love. And an example of that is what's his name? Raghav Pandit, right? And Damayanti. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, what is it? Mahaprabhu was glorifying the different devotees at the time of Rath Yatra, and Mahaprabhu glorified Raghav Pandit for how meticulously and what a high standard he had of service for his Thakurji. And I think anybody, if I get any details wrong, you can correct me, but um, he wanted to offer the best quality items to his Takoji, and so he would find out, oh, in this town, in this place, they have the best mangoes, or they have the best this kind of fruit, and he heard that there was like the best quality coconuts in this one town, and so then he traveled a long distance to bring back these really sweet, wonderful coconuts to offer to the Takoji, and then he washed them and cut them and gave them to the pujari, and the pujari was walking in to make the offering, and then he touched the wall of like the like to the entrance into the deity room. He touched the wall of the like the side of the door or something like that, or the wall, and then touched the coconuts, and then Raghav Pandit said, "Throw them away. It's contaminated now." He said that when people walk by the deity room, then the dust from their feet rises and touches the wall, and now you've contaminated the coconut, and so it's not offerable anymore. And so after going through all that trouble of bringing the coconut from such a far distance and putting it before, he said you have to throw it. And so that was all, and Mahaprabhu was glorifying that. What a high standard of service he has. But it wasn't because he was just, all about rules, but he had so much love for his Thakurji that he only wanted the most pure, best thing for his Thakurji is all out of love. All the rules and and so, um, that's the most important thing, is that we have to understand, why are we following these rules? If we just follow the rules because, oh, it's the rules, it's what it says, that's not a very inspiring way, and there's no feeling in that, and it's just, and that might even become an obstacle in our practice, like in our heart becoming soft. Our heart will just become hard. But if we understand why we're following all these different rules, that, um, you know, like we have our focus on Krishna, on Gurudev, on the Vaishnavas, what will please them, how we can serve them in the best way, and like that, then it can become a really beautiful thing. And yeah, um, anyways, those are just some thoughts I had on that. um, and then also with lots of rules in the beginning, it's when you're not used to them, like if like introducing a new rule or something, uh you have to like think about it, and it's not natural or whatever. But once you've been doing it for a while, you don't even think about it, like it just becomes a habit. And like I'm just like with making things juta or eto, like in Bengali. But um like since that's been the standard in the mat, that like I've been in the mat for more than half of my life now. And so, and those rules are really strict, with not making things contaminated. um it's completely like I never think about it, and it's not a problem ever. But I know, like when I first was like in the I really had to think about it, and like, oh my God, like it was like a very conscious thing. But then if you just follow it for a while, then you don't think about it. It's not like you're constantly thinking of rules. It's just when you're in front of Takoji and you start talking to somebody, then all of a sudden it will just automatically come in your head, oh wait, maybe we should move to the side and not stand in front of Takoji while we discuss this certain thing. Or, like it will just become an automatic habit. It won't be so yeah. In the beginning you have to think about it a lot, and then afterwards it will just become second nature. Um and another thing to think about is um not just that this will make them happy. I mean, that's a really nice thing to think. Like this is what's will make them happy, and I'll be able to serve them and please them in the highest way. But then also that this is my heritage. Like this is I'm a member of this family. I don't want to be um like we have different Western habits, just because of the Western culture and all that. But I want, like, my goal is I don't want to be just, an American or even an Indian or I don't want to have any kind of identity of being like, belonging to this country. I want to be, my goal is to become part of the family of Mahaprabhu, and I want to be like Mahaprabhu's associates, like how they would follow everything. And then even with our Guru Varga, the associates of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the like I want to be part of that family. And I don't want them I don't want I wouldn't want Mahaprabhu's followers or these Mahabhagavat like or like the community around him to see me as just some Westerner that doesn't know how to follow all these like the standard basic rules or whatever. Like I want to, and so it's kind like you can see it in that way. Like I want to be a part of that family, and I want to be. I don't want them to see me as an outsider or like somebody who's like, oh, like, I don't know if I put that right. But does that make sense what I'm saying? Um,
You just want to be accepted.
yeah, and yeah, yeah, exactly. I like I've spent more time. I've spent as much time in like with Indians as I have with Westerners, or maybe even more. And so I can see, I mean, I'm saying Western and Indian. I don't, anyways, whatever. But I know how like the Bengali brahmacharis will see a Westerner like when they come in and they don't know like the rules, like, oh, your plate shouldn't touch the mat that you're sitting on, and things like that. Like it's, and so then I see them, they're like constantly like watching to make sure that they're not going to like contaminate something and like that. And I don't know, I just anyways, I'm going on a total rant right now. I'm not even going to finish that point. Sorry, I'm talking too much. Um, anyhow, does anybody have any other things that they want to, any other points?
I just wanted to say that how much I learn each time I join your sessions. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
I learn so much every time also. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's writing is amazing. Yes, Ashray Tattva Prabhu.
Yeah, that point you made just now about wanting to be accepted, or however you wanted to phrase it, it's an impetus for progressing on the path of bhakti. I remember a similar experience when I first came along. There was someone who I really admired, one devotee, and I used to have very nice exchanges with him. But every time I got overly enthusiastic in the conversation and started bringing in other elements, I noticed he'd just sort of lose interest. And that gave me the motivation to become more astute and more aware about topics of bhakti so that I could have conversations with him where he wouldn't sort of drop out partway through. So it was a motivation for me to become more engaged and more serious, wanting to be accepted, wanting to be a friend, wanting to be his, and to be more connected to him.
Yes, that's really nice. Yes, that point. I actually one I once had to give a class to Chinese devotees, and I didn't like normal. I didn't prepare anything, and it was, what was the topic of the class? I can't even remember actually. Maybe it had to do with rules. I can't remember it. But just an idea came to my head and I really liked it, but it was something that I never heard before, and I'm not sure if it's totally bona fide. But like at that time I was working on Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj's that letter book, and and I just like we were, or maybe it was after that time, but anyways, Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj, when he joins the mott when he was 9 years old, and he left his home, and and um and then he left his home and he's in Chaitanya Mat serving all, like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada himself. He would shell peas for him to eat, and he he would serve out the plates to all the Vaishnavas, and the cups, glasses of water, and the lemon and salt, put salt on the plate or something like that. He would serve it in all these ways. And it said that he would wash all the clothes of all the senior devotees in Chaitanya Mat, and sweep their rooms. And he was always engaged in serving all the Vaishnavas. That's why he was given the name Sajan Sevak by Srila Bhaktivinoda Keshav Goswami Maharaj, means servant of the Sajan, of the saintly devotees, like that. And so I was just thinking, like, when like I just got the idea, like, you could even daydream. I know we're not supposed to, like, but I think this was okay. Somebody can tell me if they think it's, but like I was just imagining what it would be like, just to imagine that you are one of Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj's classmates in the Ṭhākura Bhaktivinoda Institute. And then when he goes to serve all the Vaishnavas, because it's like we hear that he melted the hearts of all the Vaishnavas in Chaitanya Mat. All these Srila Bhaktivinoda Keshav Goswami Maharaj, Nara Hari Seva Vigraha Prabhu, all these different associates of Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada and Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada himself. And so he melted their hearts by his service, and how nicely he followed everything. And so then I was just like, like you could be in that consciousness, like I'm one of the young boys living in Chaitanya Mat, going to Ṭhākura Bhaktivinoda Institute, and I want to follow everything really nicely, so that they'll be pleased with me and they'll shower their blessings on me, and like we can try to follow all the rules and everything like that in that kind of consciousness, like making it really personal and wanting to be part of that family and under, all the acharyas that we have, that we're always glorifying and we're meditating on, just imagining that you're directly under them, they're watching you, and that you want to be following in the best way so that they'll be proud of me, or like, in that way. And then everything that you do in service, it's you're not just following rules to for the sake of following rules, but you're doing it in a really personal, sweet way. That's it increases your identity as being part of this family, like that. Yeah, that's anyhow. That's just one thing I was thinking.
It's the whole purport of niyamagraha, right?
Mm-hmm.
That word is, depending on how you pronounce the A, it covers both things. It goes both ways. You can make a mistake one way, or you can make a mistake another way. But if you have that right mood, that essential component, then you avoid both faults,
Yes.
both mistakes.
Yeah. Yes. Very nicely said. Yes. Yeah. All right. I'm just going to look at the comments on YouTube and just one more time, and then we can. Okay. Vidyalala Sadidi says, yeah, on the normal days, the doors are closed. Okay. Yeah. Also, I had a question about sitting with our legs spread. I have an issue with my back, and sometimes when I sit cross-legged for too much, my nerves get pinched or I get cramps, so I have to stretch for a moment and then get back to the cross-legged sitting. What suggestions do I have for this? Yeah, so with sitting, yeah, if you're not able to sit like like if you just have to stretch your legs fully out like that, then I think you can do that and just go like maybe to the back of the room, or like not and I also, if there's like a really long class, sometimes I can't, like, otherwise I can't focus on the Hari guitar or anything like that. So I'll just you could also sit like like this, instead of cross-legged sometimes, and then move to the other side, and then sometimes some devotees just need to sit in a chair. Like, yeah, like there's a brahmachari just yesterday. He's a very young, enthusiastic brahmachari, very healthy and everything, but he has a back problem. Well, something happened to his back, and so he has to sit in a chair in the Harikatha and during kirtan. He had just and it looked really strange and uncomfortable. But what to do? Like, there's the body can't, otherwise he just wouldn't be able to join the program. And so I think sometimes we just have to be practical as well. Yeah, I don't know. And if you do have to ever stretch your legs, just of course make sure not to point your feet to Ṭhākura or the speaker or anything like that. Like, just, I mean, that's obvious, but yeah, just always make sure your feet are never pointing towards anything holy like that. Yeah, I don't know. If anybody has any other thoughts, you can share. All right. So if anybody doesn't have anything more to add, then we'll end for today and we'll begin the last chapter tomorrow. All right. Dandavat pranams. See you all tomorrow. Hari bol.